Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. As always, we'd like to start off by giving a shout out to our sponsors and affiliations, the people that make this podcast possible. First and foremost, we want to start out with Yellow Jacket or Ritchie Engineering. Guys, for more than 70 years, they've been one of the best companies in the industry. More than 70 years ago, Jack Ritchie set a goal for Ritchie Engineering to become the standard by which all other HVAC hoses are measured. In the last 7 decades, Yellow Jacket brand has not only become a standard in hoses, but tools, refrigeration gauges, manifolds, HVAC vacuum pumps, and refrigerant recovery machines. It's become legendary. How have they done this? Through an unwavering commitment to excellence. It's the single most important attribute in the longevity of the company. While other companies sold out, sent work overseas, and lessened quality, the relentlessness commitment of their people have led to 70 years of best in-class products. Their first-class customer service and innovations that most contractors see jobs easier worldwide. So join them in the next 70 years as they commit to changing the standard once again.
Guys, it's time to streamline and automate your business with House Call Pro. When clients sign up with House Call Pro, they've seen revenue growth of up to 30% just in the first year. House Call Pro automates all of your back office work, which can save you over 15 hours of work each week. House Call Pro also does scheduling, estimates, dispatching, invoicing, and follow-up marketing for you and your business. Stop losing time and money in your business and schedule your free demo today. And when you schedule the free demo, you're going to get a $50 free fuel card just for checking out the program. But you got to go through this link, guys. Visit www.housecallpro.com/HVAC-uncensored. House Call Pro. Automate your business today.
Guys, and last but not least is Webbit. You guys out there, you small business owners, whatever you're doing, guys, we're in the day and age of technology, and you have to be on the internet. You have to have an internet presence. You have to have a website. I know you see, I say it every week. I know you see all these ones where, it's $25, you build your own website. Well, I don't know if I'm just a dumbass, but it's not as easy as it looks, and I don't have the time to do that. There's enough thing that we have to do in our business. I don't need to spend time building a website. So guys, for $49 a month, Webbit will build your website and maintain it. And you even get SEO. And hey, if you're like me, I had no fucking clue what SEO even meant. It means search engine optimize. That's a great feature, isn't it? So guys, if you're out there and you need a website, email us at hvacuncensored@gmail.com, and I will forward you the information to our representative, Tyler, and he will get you taken care of. All right? Give Webbit a try for your website. I promise you guys will be happy.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the USA, and thank you to all of our global listeners.
If you're trying to take your HVAC game to the next level, then buckle your seatbelt, crank up the volume, and try not to be offended, because you're listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast with Gil Cavey and Kelly McKay. Now, here's Gil and Kelly.
What up, everybody? Uncensored Nation. Welcome back to episode 33 of the HVAC Uncensored podcast. I am yours truly, Mr. Gil Cavey, sitting alongside my good buddy, Mr. Kelly McKay. What is up, my friend?
What's up, buddy? I am glad and happy to just be you and I tonight.
Yeah, I know, man. These interviews, you gotta, prepare for them, and Make sure you're doing a good job. When it's me and you, I just feel more laid back. Like I can say fuck more and all that kind of stuff.
I was nervous, man. I'm going to be honest. I was nervous, like Roland from House Call Pro, dude is super successful. Like for whatever reason, I was nervous talking to him.
Yeah, he was a really, really cool dude. And to be honest, all three of them, man, Patrick Long, Josh Kelly, and Roland, I always say it, Littenberg, I think is his last name, how you pronounce it.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, man. Thank all three of you, man. You guys were awesome. They were great podcasts, and we had so much fun talking to those guys, even before and after, man. I mean, we just BS'd and talked about stuff, and I know that they're all busy men, but it was an awesome time. I really enjoyed myself.
Oh, me too. Absolutely. And I have to admit, I was nervous with everybody because I've never really been in an interview before, or actually being the person doing the interviewing. And I'd only been interviewed, one other time when we first met. So it was just different, but it was good. I think the podcast turned out great. If you haven't caught them, be sure to go back and download them, guys.
Yeah, they've been great, man. The downloads on them have been phenomenal. So people are definitely enjoying it. And guys, me and Kelly are just trying to, it's different aspects. And I know we do a lot of things on business and running a company and stuff like that. And a lot of the small business owners really, really like that. But guys, some of these things just for normal service techs are still good for you guys. We're just giving you all aspects of the business thing to make you guys better at what you do. That is what we're trying to do. That's why we do this. And like we've always said, me and Kelly don't know everything. We don't, but we're both successful. Well, at our standards, are we where we want to be? Of course not. There's always room to grow. There's guys way more successful than we are, but we found things that work, that can work for you guys. And we want you guys to be successful. Bottom line.
I'm so glad you said that. For whatever reason, that exact thought has been on my mind this afternoon. And going into this podcast is that we want to help you better your career, better your business, and just get better, period. And it's fun too. So, we're very fortunate to be able to do this and share this information with you. And some of the information that the guests have been sharing has been really enlightening and really, eye-opening. You just get a lot of this information, so you kind of know, even if you're a service expert and you don't own a business, knowing some of this stuff really helps you see different aspects of how your company functions and operates. So, but back to serving you guys. We want to serve you guys at the highest level, just like we talk about serving our customers at the highest level. Although we do this for fun and we enjoy it, you're our customers. And our job is to serve you. Otherwise, you'll stop listening. So we want to find new and improved ways and share more and more experiences and techniques and strategies and insights into how to be better in all aspects of your HVAC career.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, guys. And it's all different aspects. I mean, like, for example, we'll go through each one. I mean, the recruiting thing. Patrick gave examples on not only for business owners how to find people, but he also gave tips on guys who are looking for a job, on what to do, which ones you should be looking for, though, what kind of companies and how they put that out, that you should be saying, oh, I want to fill an application out for this company, when they're making it about you and not about themselves. When it comes to reviews, it makes you guys understand how important that review is. So whether you're a small business owner or you're in a company and you hear your boss or manager telling you, hey man, make sure you ask for the review, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah, whatever. And you push it aside. Now you know why they're saying that. Okay. It's a lucrative business. Okay. This man has taken the review business to a whole nother level, something that's other people are not doing. Guys, how many times when you buy products, do you look up reviews online before you buy it? Well, what the fuck do you think these customers are doing, guys? They're doing the same thing about you and your company. They're looking you up online. They're seeing your reviews. And one thing I like that Josh said is some customers, there might only be 1 or 2 bad reviews, but that's what they're going to concentrate on. Maybe that's going to hit home to them and make them not use your company. So guys, reviews and stuff like that are important. So don't just think, oh, I'm not a business owner, this is not for me. All of this knowledge can help you no matter where you are in the trade. Trust me.
And when you know this information versus maybe one of your team members, how do you think that's going to affect your how many results, the results that you actually produce, how many extra reviews will you be getting because you know how serious it is, and how can that increase and help you climb the ladder of success in your career? I mean, just knowing this information is critical. So, and then House Call Pro. So if you're ever even thinking about starting a business, or you already own a business, and you heard Roland, he was like 10 to 15 trucks, like they own this space. They absolutely own it. So if you're working for somebody who doesn't currently have a dispatching software, but as you know, it does a lot more than that, then have that conversation with them and make sure to go through, use our link to do that and get that $50 free gas card. It's not going to hurt anything, and it's going to help the business tremendously. And we've talked about this in the past, Gil, that whether you own the company or you are you're a coworker and you work for the company, we always have to be looking for ways to improve the company, period. And if you bring this information to the owner or your boss and they haven't heard of it before and they check it out and it just completely changes the company, you're a hero, man. Bottom line, you're a hero. And it makes your job easier too.
Oh, goddamn right. If you listen to that podcast, there is not one bad thing that you can say about House Call Pro. If you're over 15 people, over 15 trucks, okay, like Roland said, maybe you need to go with something a little bit more lucrative, something a little bit bigger, something more expensive. But normally if you're over that, then you have enough money to, build your own program. But for all the things that it offers, and if you're one of those guys, if you're a smaller company and you're in a shop and you're still using paper tickets and you're still back in the 80s like we are for the time being, go to your boss and be like, hey, boss, I listened to this podcast and these guys were talking about how awesome House Call Pro is. I really think you need to check it out. You can have them listen to the podcast or tell them, be like, hey, they have this special going on right now. Give them our link. Be like, hey, boss, go to www.housecallpro.com/HVAC-uncensored, and they'll give you a free demo and you'll get a $50 gas card just for watching it. If they watch it, they're going to be sold, because there's no way that a business owner that's doing paper tickets can watch that and be like, oh yeah, this is fucking stupid. There's no fucking way. You can't, it's not possible. When I watched the demo, I was like, fuck. But in my position, I can't make that decision on my own. The owner has watched it and we're moving forward, but trust me, it's a no-brainer, guys. It really is something like that to automate your business. And when you listen to what Roland says, I mean, it's just, and then what really, really said a lot about Roland, and I'll get Kelly's take on this, is at the end, when he says, go check out other companies. Don't just come sign up with us. Go check out other companies. He's telling you to go check out his competitors, and he told you the questions to ask because he knows what the answers are. The guy has done his research on his competitors, especially for what you're getting versus what you're paying. I mean, you can't fucking beat it, man.
The price is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It makes it a no-brainer. You will literally pay for it doing one service call a month. And it doesn't matter how many people you add, where the other softwares, I can tell you, because I've used some of them, they're, like he said, it's like 1/10 of the price. And that's about right. It's like what you pay for a whole month for unlimited users on House Call Pro, you'll pay for one user using a different software. And it's going to be a lot more complicated and that's why that's why it's perfect for that 10 to 15 truck range, because a business that gets more and more mature and has and grows and grows, if it does, if it's in an area that it actually can grow and has been able to grow, and some right decisions have been made, so the growth actually happens. It's one of those things that if you get to that type of growth, well, then yes, you want to look into something else because you probably want more from your software. But I'm telling you, it's unreal how much it does for the price. So, and we could talk about this all night long, I know.
Yeah, no. And one thing I really liked is, I think after we were done recording, Kelly had an issue where the damn program like cut him out. But when Roland like gave me like his personal cell phone number and was like, if you have any questions or issues, just call me directly. I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
that's cool.
So, yeah, that's awesome. I'm smooching, rubbing elbows.
Well,
with important people,
three badass people that we had on the podcast that are all down to earth. You can connect with them anytime. They're the same way. Josh and Patrick, we can get a hold of them anytime we want, and that's pretty cool. Because they're really successful people and they've helped a lot of businesses out there with, gain more reviews, streamline their business and gain more recruits. And I know Patrick didn't even get into all the services he provides, but he provides a lot more service than just recruiting.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I'm going to spin this off real fast is, don't let me go too far, Kelly. But is if you listen to all these guys talk, and I'm just going to name the three guys we just talked about, Patrick Long, Josh Kelly, and Roland, and another one I'm going to bring in is Mr. John Pastorillo from Refrigeration Technologies. And there's others too, but all these four guys have in common is they were in the service industry. Okay. Patrick Long said he grew up in the service industry and that's how he paid to like go through college and stuff like that. And then he wanted to go back to help our industry, like HVAC, plumbing. He saw a need that was not being was not being
filled
done properly. Was not being filled. So he found a way to do it. Josh Kelly said his family already owns a gazillion-dollar company in Arizona. It's not like he needed to go start a company. That wasn't his intention. Like you heard him, they had review issues. He was just trying to figure a way to solve their problems and now created a company out of it. Roland said that he did like painting or something. He was in the service industry, a bunch of them in college, and then they just saw a need. Mr. John Pastorillo, he was actually an HVAC guy and was using these shit products and was like, you know what? And he had a chemistry background, which I know most of us don't, and was like, hey man, I can make products better than this. I'm not going to use this shit. So guys, when you're out there, man, sometimes you're talking to your buddy and you're like, man, what if we had something that did this? Don't always fucking be like, oh, that's a dumb fucking idea, because where do you think these guys would be if they thought that way? You know what I mean? You pursue that stuff, man. You got an idea, fucking pursue it. That's how these guys became successful. You know what I mean? And then have money and they follow their dreams doing something that they love. You know what I mean? I don't want to go too far. I'll stop.
But it's true. It is true. It's one of those, it's just like you said, they're filling the need. And just like Patrick, there's a need for, he's figured a way how to reach the people that are so hard to reach, which is the service experts out there. So each one of these extraordinary people, they filled the need that was already there. So be sure to listen to all of them, guys. There's great information once again. So, well, we can get off that subject, I guess. How's business, man?
Oh, it's pretty good, man. It's been cold. It's been colder here. It's been kind of fluctuating, but it's been staying pretty cold. I mean, we were busy as all dog shit last weekend. I was out covered in call with another guy because of a no call, no shower twice, which is no longer employed here. But you got to do what you got to do, man. Yeah, it's been good, man. Quite a few sales been popping up. I sold a whole system today, a furnace yesterday, and I got one that didn't give me an answer, but I know I grew up with his kids and his oldest son. He's like, Gil, I just want my dad to get another quote, just to go through the process. But he's like, it's going to be you, but I just want to do my due diligence. And I was like, I get it, man. I do. I get it. So I should hear from them in the morning, and hopefully that's another one. So
nice.
We'll see.
I'm saying,
how about you guys, man?
Cold as fuck here, like frigid ass cold, and the wind's been blowing like hell, and so that spurred a little bit of business, a few service calls, and typically, and like we like to see, the service typically usually spurs a little bit of replacement sales as well. So, and that's what's happened. Other than that, we did the home show while I was gone in Texas. And so we got quite a few leads from that, but we did really not the best job at closing those. So we've been calling those people back and trying to make the most out of, the money that we spent to get some more return on our investment of just operating the home show. Those are always tough leads to close. I don't know. Have you guys ever done home shows?
We have not, surprisingly. We've never done one. And I think they actually do have one at the Baltimore Convention Center, but yeah, I've never went to it.
We typically get a lot of leads, but you normally you might book maybe 20% of those, maybe 30 if you're lucky, and then you're only going to close about 20% of those. So it's a tough gig, but it's a perfect time of year for us here in Kansas because, February's can be, depending on what the weather does, they can be a little slow, and the home show comes in right at the perfect moment to at least give us something to strive for. But I had a good talk with the guys Monday morning. Had to. I don't know what we're missing, what we're not doing. It's something that we always have to constantly follow up on. That's what you'll find. And I'm sure you guys, all you service experts that listen to us out there, I'm sure you hear this too. Don't you hear the same shit over and over again in your business? And if we just would actually go out and do that on a consistent basis, maybe we wouldn't have to listen to it all the time. But I'm that guy who has to constantly say the same shit over and over again. And it gets pretty old, but usually there's some kind of an impact when we really hit it hard, and then we start building momentum again. So
it happens, and it's the way it is with the weather. You asked why we don't do the show in Baltimore, and hold on. Oh, fucker, it's not doing it. Oh, I had this thing of gunshots. I was going to be like, that's why. Oh, here it's coming. Let me see if you can. Oh, no, it's not. Shit, it's not playing. Sorry. It was a thing of gunshots going off. I'm like, that's why we don't do it in Baltimore. But yeah, no, what I was going to say is the fact that we're a weather-based business, we have to be like, it's almost like a baseball player, how you're going to get in little funks, you're going to get in little streaks because it's such a long season. You got to be able to kind of ride those waves as they come in because you're going to get busy. You got to know, you got to know, like when you're sprinting, you got to know when to sprint, when to slow down and catch your breath for a little bit, when to sprint, when to catch your breath. And it's hard. And as a manager, as an owner, that's when the morale of a company and, stuff like that really comes into play when you can motivate your guys and get them going. I mean, as a technician, you guys want to be motivated. You don't want to walk into the office and be like, go get them, guys. That motivation
definitely
helps. It helps everybody.
We closed a little over $20,000 in 2 days. And we needed it. It's thanks. Thank you very much. No, I can't take any of the credit. The guys did it, and they always had that's one thing as like a leader is I believe in my guys so much. Like I want them to live up to their full potential. And sometimes it takes some accountability, and it takes somebody that pushes a little bit to help you live up to your potential. and they're just showing me more of their potential when they go out and do things like that. So I just got to keep them on track so we can
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean,
so we can,
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We're aiming for a target at the end of the year. I don't know if we're going to hit it or not, but you got to have something to aim towards. And once in a while, I just gave an analogy. It's like, imagine a boat that's on autopilot, and then a big burst of wind comes over and knocks it over 3 feet. But you don't check the autopilot. You just let it keep going. You're probably not going to hit your target. Once in a while, you got to course correct, get back on track so you can keep moving towards the target. And that's what we had to do. So I'm really happy with everything now. Everything's going a lot better. I've been working on all kinds of things behind the scenes. I've been super busy. And I don't know. Things are good, man. Besides for that little blurp we had, things are really good.
Good, man. Well, and you guys also know that me and Kelly have a lot of things in the works, man. And we're not gonna drop any bombs yet, but me and Kelly have been working very, very diligently. And to be honest, I won't even lie, more so on Kelly's end. It's been both of our brains, but it's been a lot of work. We've been putting it in, trying to develop some things that we think that you guys are really, really going to love. And that goes back to what we said earlier, that, we like these podcasts to be relevant, talk about things. Well, we want you guys to learn. We want to be able to serve you and give you things and give you knowledge and help you. Also a place to come and just relax and hear guys talk about shit that you see every day. Two guys that are doing the same thing that you're doing. Me and Kelly are both in the field. Kelly's more in the office now because he owns the company, but I'm still in the field fixing things sometimes. I mean, I'm all over the place. So we're seeing what you guys are seeing. So we're just trying to make it better.
I'm
for you
kind of
guys.
that
That's
guy.
all.
I don't micromanage horribly, but I still know what's going on in the company, just about any given thing, about any callbacks or about any problems. As long as everything's going smooth, then I'll know less. But I'm here every day, man. And we're trying to win the Super Bowl. So it's a work in progress. So
Yeah, that's the way it's got to be. Hey, real fast, I wanted to say this. It's something that I don't know. As far as I know, it's something new. Some of you guys might tell me like, Gil, this is old as shit. But I happened to on my way back to the office today, I had to take back a warranty board, furnace board, to Goodman dealer, and there is a service bulletin out for Goodman Amana defrost boards. So I'm going to read this real fast. It's February 28th, 2019, all service and parts managers, defrost thermostat this is defrost thermostat relocation for single row 7mm heat pump coils. In certain applications, the defrost thermostat may not be installed in the optimal location for complete defrosting of the outdoor coil. If you are experiencing incomplete defrost, we are recommended relocating the defrost thermostat from the lowest U-bend to the U-bend just beneath the bottom most flow rater leg, approximately the third U-bend from the bottom of the coil illustrated, which it has something in here. This will allow the unit to completely defrost the coil. Listed below are model numbers, and I'm not going to sit here and name all these model numbers off, but it's a good bit. So I will share a copy of this in the Facebook group. But if you look, I don't know where to go to get this. I actually have the paper copy, but it says Service Bulletin SR-076. And I figured I'd say that because people talk shit about Goodman, but I know no matter what you install, you see a lot of Goodmans because of the price. So if you guys have this issue, I just figured it might help everybody.
sure, it's good information for sure.
Yeah, I'm still dealing with and I put it up there, guys, and real fast in the Facebook group, when I put something up about the service bulletin for carriers, secondary heat exchangers, That is not a new bulletin. That is still the old one. It gets revised and updated every so often. The last revision, it says on here, is still 2014, but it got brought back up because of some issues. So if you guys want to know, that is the service bulletin for Carrier. If you go to SEMAtraining.com, you can get all their bulletins. And I'm pretty sure like it's like the username is dealer and the password I think is like Carrier Enterprise. But that is service bulletin SMB09-0024A. And that goes over all the units. I know a lot of guys out there I see in the group having issues with the Carrier secondary heat exchangers, and this goes over all the model numbers for Carrier, for Bryant. But one thing you guys need to know, that the serial number ranges are from 1993 to 2008. And the reason I say that is because we ran into one from 2011 that I thought was going to be in this because it had one of the model numbers, but the serial number was out of the range. So thank God it was covered under the customer's parts and labor warranty they purchased with it, but it did not fall under this bulletin. So just a little technical information to give you guys out there if that helps. I know a lot of you guys already know it, but just in case, there it is. Shove it up your ass. Do whatever the fuck you want to do with it. At
least it sounds like a pretty, it's not going to, pretty low time consuming thing to fix, moving it from the bottom to the third U-bend.
Oh yeah, the Goodman thing is it looks like it's the Goodman thing looks like it's pretty easy. That was the first one that I read, Goodman and Amana. Right. The Carrier heat exchangers, obviously heat exchangers suck. So from what I have learned and talking with Carrier is they'll either, so now those models covered in that, they're covering the primary and secondary heat exchangers or actually, let me take that back. They're not covering the primary. They're covering the secondary. Matter of fact, here, I'm just going to read it to you. So the policy only covers the failure of required replacement of a secondary or condensing heat exchanger and the following related parts: the coupling box kits, the cold spot baffle, and cell inlet and outlet panels. So if I was always taught when you change heat exchangers to change the primary and the secondary at the same time, which you probably should still do, but you're going to have to charge them for the primary because it's not going to be covered unless it's still under the original warranty, which I think they are like 20 something years. But pretty much with these, what they did is they extended them. I think they were already covered for 20 years parts. Now they're covered for 20 years labor as well. They can do that, or the customer can get like $200 off a new furnace, which $200 really isn't dick. But it's $200 off another Carrier furnace. Obviously, they're not gonna give them money to change brands. Right, so if any of you guys had questions, that's what it is. And like I said, this sucks. I mean, you guys know that I'm a Carrier guy. It sucks to have this issue. I mean, being a Carrier guy, I probably deal with it more than anybody, besides the other Carrier guys. But it is what it is. It's a blemish. They got to fix it and fucking move on. You know what I mean? It doesn't change the way I feel about the brand.
Oh,
when I post that. Yeah, when I post that thing in the group, people are like, "Oh, Carrier sucks." So, what do you mean, like every secondary heat exchanger? I'm like, come on, man, eat a dick, dude. Don't fucking. That's just stupid. It's, to be honest, I don't think you can base someone off their mistakes. You base them on how they fix them. You know what I mean? If they have an issue and they know it's an issue and they just let it go and they don't ever do anything about it, then yeah, that sucks. Right. But I mean, they made their changes. The new ones are great. As far as all you guys that did Carrier, and I know Train's not like this. I don't know if you know, Carrier's primary heat exchangers, the cells would come all separate and you had to put each one together. It was a pain in the dick. Then you had to screw it to the secondary. Now the primary and the secondary come as just two pieces. You put them together, you put your baffles on, and now it has a little fucking like thing. You just slide it in there. So It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I didn't mean to go off on that rant. I just wanted to
Well, you did anyway.
do a little news update. Dun, 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 dun.
No, every manufacturer has had problems. I'm thinking back of just the different, when you said that, first I'm not going to say first because I can't remember the timelines that I've went through with different manufacturers having problems, but York and Coleman coils, there was a time for 2 or 3 years where they had leaky coils. They got like bad batches of copper. And so they'd get pinholes in them and you just couldn't stop these things from leaking all the refrigerant out. So they handled that pretty well, I think. Then there's no, like I said, no timeline here, but the mobile home Coleman heat exchangers, all kinds of problems with those. They were burning the gas too hot, and it was causing, burning holes in it and causing excessive expansion and contraction, which was popping the rivets out of the baffle above the burner. And then there was a time where Trane had coils that were coming out that had blockages in them. So you'd get a coil that was like 2 or 3 years old, and you'd see where rust has started to form on the plates that kind of hold, where the U-bends come out. You'd see rust all over that plate, but the top third of the coil would have no rust whatsoever. It's because it was never sweating, because there was a blockage somewhere in there. So we dealt with that for a while. I don't know. There's been all kinds of problems. Then we had this compressor thing that, was clogging everybody's expansion valves from Copeland. So it's just a never-ending thing. It'll never go away. There'll always be equipment problems.
Well, yeah, no.
So,
like I said, it's on how they deal with it. One thing I wondered is, well, let me ask you this. I mean, do you guys deal with any of like those products like the AC Renew, the Zero Ice, and things like that, the additives that are supposed to like help like clean the TXV and stuff like that?
Not, you're talking about, now I don't know if that was the replacement for, because we're Trane, they had a specific bottle of shit that we had to buy from them, and we used only that kind. But I think those AC Renews and stuff, that kind actually worked as well, and it was a lot cheaper. But they were warrantying it anyways, so. Well,
yeah, exactly. Well, that's my point is Carrier uses, I think it's called Zero or Zero Ice or something like that. I could be pronouncing it wrong, but I know like the big debate is always like the only thing that should be in a refrigeration system is refrigerant and oil. But manufacturers are telling us to put this in. A long story short, we had a call, and I mean, I know the customer, he's kind of a pain in the ass, but he had a system where he said his unit was making like a moose call. Like it was like making like a goofy noise, and it's nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, he bought a cheaper system. He didn't buy like anything fancy. But we took that issue to Carrier, and then they told us to add that stuff into there. And we had to do that before with like the TXV and stuff like that, the rust inhibitor thing or whatever. But what's getting me is if manufacturers are telling us to add this stuff in there, it must not be that bad. You know what I mean? There must not be anything wrong with it. So when I see these other guys selling this stuff to customers, I mean, when do you do it? I mean, when's the good time? When's the wrong time?
When it sounds like a moose.
I mean, obviously, yeah, exactly. I mean, we don't want to be out there selling customers, cans of snake oil, but if it's a product that can actually help their system, an older system, clean out the springs inside of a TXV and different things like that, I don't know. I don't know if maybe this is something that we should be offering or not.
You've never tried cans of snake oil, so how the fuck would you know? That's good shit, man.
That's not what you sent me.
Shit. No, but yeah, I got a couple things that I want to talk about. We don't have to like do a full segment on me. It's up to you. It'll be a good conversation.
Yeah, no, go ahead. We haven't played your bumper in a while, so let's do it. Let me just figure out which button it is. Hold on. Oh, I colored it green for Go Make Money. Yeah.
Now, here's Go Make Money with Kelly McKay.
What is up? I got some really cool shit to share with you. You're gonna want to get out your pen and pad, write this down, because I'm going to give you 2 things that are going to help you sell more as a tech, and it's going to be doing the right thing for the customer. And they're just 2 statements. And then we need to break the habit of doing something else that we as techs always do. And I'm sure Gil's going to agree with me, and he's going to say the same thing. But number 1 thing that you can say when you present options to the customer for repairs is, I need to bring it back up to manufacturer standards. That's a super powerful statement. It says that the manufacturer says this, not just you. Have you used that before? Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, when we've talked, I've always done that. When I tell a customer, my job as a technician, every time I come out to service something, is to get that thing running to as close as the day it came off the manufacturing floor as possible. Can that always happen? No, but that's meaning like we need clean coils. A system needs to be cleaned. It needs to be properly charged. Our power, our amp draws, all that. I mean, you know what I mean? It needs to be clean and properly charged before we can technically, check all the other stuff. And that's things that we need to be doing and taking care of when we're out there.
And it's been a while since I've read the installation instructions for a piece of equipment, but I can tell you it says that right in there. It must be maintained. So there's third-party verification that this stuff has to be done if they want to preserve their warranty and they're going to keep their equipment safe or reliable and efficient. So that's one thing. The next thing is, if there's anything that's not quite up to code, then that's how we need to present that. I need to bring this back up. Mrs. Smith, we need to bring your furnace back up to code and get this done. That's a powerful statement, because that means something. It means more than, this ain't quite right, so I'd like to change that for you. Would it be all right if we did that? You don't want to ask that way. You want to just tell them, we've got to bring this back up to code.
Make sure that your guys didn't put it in.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know what I mean? Because I've seen that where, hey, we all make mistakes. Like, one of your installers will make a mistake, and, a service tech comes in, and then the customer's like, well, you guys put it in. You know what I mean? So something seems so dumb, but double check that kind of stuff. But Kelly's right. I know some codes are going to be different in each individual state and where you live. But 2 that I want to say real fast that I saw the other day is, here in Maryland, you have to have 30 inches in front of the furnace. And I went to one where there's a water heater like sitting right in front of it. I'm like, well, what the fuck? And the other one, which I think is pretty standard, I think this is by like the AGA, by the American Gas Association, is there cannot be a union inside the furnace. A union should be outside of the furnace. You cannot have it inside. And here, whether you use like that seal tight or even like the appliance connectors, they cannot penetrate the furnace. So you can hard pipe coming out, do your drip legs, sediment trap, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and then you do that connection. Those cannot enter the furnace cabinet, as far as I know.
They can't pass through the furnace cabinet.
Yeah.
Right. So if you see something out there that's like that, you got to bring it to the customer's attention and present it that way. We need to bring this back up to code. That's just really powerful. It's going to make it a no-brainer.
Yeah, and one thing real fast is, when you guys are, I guess this is going to be different for guys that are using automated systems, but when you're bringing all that stuff together to the customer, and say you have a whole bunch of items, and I'll see how you feel about this, Kelly. With us doing the paper tickets, we make our guys flip the ticket over and they write it all on the back. But say there's a bunch of things, rather than having a list of like fucking, 15 things on the back, I will tell them to combine things together, because sometimes if you have too many issues, you can overwhelm the customer. You go there with, hey, Mrs. Jones, you need A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you keep going down. So when you take a couple of those things and you combine them together, it's still going to be the proper price. I mean, the total is going to be the total regardless. But when you combine some of those tasks together, visually, it's easier on the eye for the customer than seeing a whole bunch of things. I just want to throw that in there real fast.
No, that's so true. And it's, if you are going to bundle stuff together, they ought to get a little bit more of a discount, right?
Yes.
And that makes it even more of a no-brainer for them, because it's not going to be any cheaper if you replace the gas valve and then a week later the blower motor goes out. So, and if you're suspecting that the gas valve is bad, you already know, but the blower motor does not sound right. The capacitor checks out okay. It's pulling, right at capacity on the amp draw, and just, it's going bad. It's not going to get any less expensive if you have to come back to another service call, possibly after hours, to get that repair made. So yeah, if you can bundle stuff together and just swoop it through and get it all done at once, that's great. I think that if we take our time and we go through everything on the system like we always talk about, it's going to be tough to do more than 3-4 calls a day, because each call is going to take 2 to 2.5 hours, because you're going to sell so much work for yourself, and your average invoice is going to be so much higher than everybody else's, and your customers will be so much happier than anybody else's. That's like a no-brainer on our end,
Yeah. I mean, and I know a lot of technicians, when they hear, and we always say the 500 mark, we want guys to be an average of a $500 invoice. Guys, that's really not hard at all. And that's not lying and selling customers stuff they don't need. Just doing your job properly and honest. $500 is a fucking kick in the bucket. And me and my owner have proved it to my guys, or our guys, time and time again, that it's not hard. And some guys, their complaint would be like, oh, well, it was slow that week. I only had 2 calls. Okay, well, then your average should be higher. Because, you know what I mean? Because you had less calls to divide that by. Your average should be $1,200 or something like that if you only had 2 calls that week. So, guys, and one big thing that I want to say is about your mindset, okay? Guys, your mindset when you're there, and this is even more so for the guys that are making commission, that they're commission techs. The customer has to be your top priority and what's on your mind. What is best for them and what's best for that system? They might not agree with you, and it might not agree with your wallet, but if you do that all the time, you're going to make out in the long run. Trust me. That's how to make an honest living. Not going in there and just, oh, it needs this, it needs that, and that's how guys get a bad name. There is enough work on these systems, guys. There's people that they're not changing their filter like you're supposed to. We see it all the time. The people post it in the group. There's so much things that need to be done. And one thing real fast, I don't want to babble too long. Sorry, Kelly. When it comes to cleaning coils, most manufacturers recommend like every 2 to 3 years to have a coil cleaned. And I'm not saying to put chemicals on a coil that doesn't need it, but offer hosing the coil off, or maybe not a full chemical clean. We'll hose the outdoor unit off every 2 years, and on the 3rd year, if it needs chemicals, we'll do chemicals or something like that. There's always ways to do that, to keep that system running, that guys don't think about, and they just push it off. And I just think when we do that, we're doing the customer a disservice.
We are. Definitely. So I'm going to move on. Those are the 2 things, bring it back up to code and bring it back up to manufacturer standards. Those are 2 important phrases. I want you guys to learn those. Like, write them down, learn them, and use them. And you'll find that they just hold a lot of weight. Now, the last thing I'm going to say, and I'm anxious to hear Gil's take on this, because I'm sure he's guilty of this, just as I was guilty of it for many years, is you get to an old system. Let's say it's a 17-year-old system, and you fix it up, you clean it up, and it's all working good now. Maybe that was the primary reason that it failed, is it just needed maintenance. And now you've got it all up and good and working. What do you say to the customer? What's the last thing you say to the customer? You say, Mrs. Smith, everything's working great now. Got it all cleaned up. Seems to be working fine. Thanks so much, and then you collect and you leave. Then what happens? A month later, that 17-year-old furnace has another part that fails. Now you're an asshole. You're an asshole because you just told her a month ago that everything was working fine. And so we're like setting ourselves up for disaster when we say that. And believe me, I said it every call like that. We all have like a routine that we go through on our calls. And a lot of that routine is the way we talk. And I was guilty. I said it all the time. And but instead we ought to be saying something like, Miss Smith, I got it up and working again. However, I've got some concerns. I'm just afraid that you might have, it could break down again just due to the parts being worn out and the age. But everything seems to be working right at this moment, but I can't guarantee or promise anything in the future. You're planting the seed for when it fails again, because we all know it will. It could be a year later, and she could still be upset because you told her how great it was working when you left a year ago. So let's start planting that seed and stop telling them that everything's great and everything's fine, because you're just setting yourself up to get in trouble, and it's your fault, and you're the asshole when it breaks down again.
Yep. Biggest thing I've always learned is don't let your mouth write checks your ass can cash.
That was a song, wasn't it?
It's plain and simple. Yeah. And I don't know. I don't want to go too far in detail on this topic about what we were talking about before.
Limp Bizkit.
I don't want to give.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the other. I don't want to give my example for something else that we're doing. But yeah, guys, when you go out, and I was one of the big ones, man, you go out on this old system and you get in that mindset where you think if the cheaper the bill, the better you've done, the happier the customer is going to be. Wrong. Ding dong, that's wrong. The customer wants their problem taken care of, and even though that you might be a nice guy and they love talking to you, they don't want to fucking see you. Okay? They don't want to see you next week and the week after because something keeps happening. They want their problem to be fixed, they want it to work, and maybe see you for some maintenance or something like that. So guys, you get in these dilemmas when you get these old systems is when you need to be honest. If there's a bunch of shit wrong, tell them there's a bunch of shit wrong. Be like, hey, Mrs. Smith, I can get your system working. It's going to be, such and such amount of money. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know if I can, be comfortable telling you to put that kind of money into a 20-year-old system. Can you pay that money and it'll work? Yes, it'll work now. I just can't guarantee how long. I just want to make sure I give you all the facts to make the right decision to you. But whether or not you repair it now or not, replacement is going to be something in your near future and something you guys need to think about. So when you have that talk and in 6 months when it breaks, well, yep, I remember Gil saying that he didn't know how long it was going to last. I guess I should have just did it then. But if you have that talk and you say, nope, ma'am, I got it up and running, she's good to go. And then 6 months, well, Gil said the thing was working fine. Now all of a sudden I got to buy a new one? You guys just trying to sell me a fucking system. See how that same talk worded different ways can go two totally different directions? So that's what we're talking about, guys, is how you word this.
And if you're the same tech going out there each and every time, have that same conversation over and over and over again. That way, by year 2 or 3, when there's a major failure or a major repair that pops up, it'll be, well, yeah, you've been telling me for the last couple years it needed to be replaced. And so they're prepared for it. It's not a surprise. And that's ultimately what we're after, is no surprises, because nobody likes surprises when it comes to your heating and air conditioning system. So,
no. I mean, and the other thing I was going to say real fast is if you're not the person that goes out there, whether you're House Call Pro or writing your invoices out, that you're thorough in that invoice so that if another technician goes out and they look up the previous ticket or the previous invoice, that you guys are a united front, that they're going to reiterate the same thing that you said. And that's only going to confirm with that customer even more. Well, oh yeah, I remember Kelly said that when he was here before. You know what I mean? So guys, little things like that, how you word things and stuff like that is going to go a long way.
And if they forget it, you can just bring the invoice up and show it to them. Say, look right here, Miss Smith, he said, that he had some concerns that it wasn't going to last very long. So boom. That's called, who just said this? CYA, cover your ass.
Oh, yeah, that was rolling.
Cover your ass. So, yeah, that was with the signatures before you do the repair. Yeah, absolutely. Then the signature after the repair. So I hope that information helped you. I know that those are two powerful sayings, and that's something that you also want to get into a habit of doing. I would say anything over 10 years old, I'd be having that conversation, because it just depends on how the unit's being maintained. It depends on the way it was installed, and hopefully you're finding some things that you can actually fix on the install so it runs better and the way it was designed to run if you're short on airflow or something. But it's something that I hope that you just have that conversation every time. Once the unit's so old. So that's another thing, is we got to get in the habit every single call. If we're not taking a picture or writing down the model and serial number of the equipment, to get used to doing that and picking the age out so you know how old that thing is, so you can have that conversation, because time slips away from people. I was on a unit years ago, and it was like an antique pane, day and night, horizontal, or it was like the vertical, the side discharge. It was like a pane, day and night, side discharge.
Oh, yeah.
And that thing was like 18 years old. And when I had the conversation with the customer, he was like, "Oh, we just changed that 5 years ago." Like, time literally slips away from people. So always bringing that up so they know how old their system is. That's an important thing to always communicate to the customer as well.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing real fast I want to say before, because I know we're getting at the hour mark, is shit. Oh, God damn it, I'm gonna forget what I was gonna talk about now. I have this brain fart that it does that. Shit. Oh, yeah. The model number, and guys, learning how to read different manufacturers' nomenclature so that you know what's in that serial number, the year that it was manufactured and stuff like that. Obviously, if you do a brand all the time, you're going to know that brand, but look it up. Nowadays on the internet, you can find anything. So know what that nomenclature is. The other thing, when I said about, don't let your mouth write checks your ass can't cash, another big one that I've seen that our guys have done, if it's a part that you have to order and you don't have it on your truck, do not promise that customer something that you cannot get, you can't give them. Like I always say, you want to under promise and over deliver. Do never ever be like, "Oh yeah, we should be back out by Thursday." Even though you're just trying to give them a time frame to be nice, they're going to hold you to your fucking word. They're going to call into the office and be like, "Well, hey, Gil said you guys would be back by Thursday." And the office is going to call you and be like, "Why did you tell me back by Thursday? Like, the part's not even going to be here by Thursday." So just to help you guys out, so you don't have a headache, make sure you're not doing that kind of stuff. I just tell customers, be like, "Hey, I'm gonna have to order this part as soon as the part comes in, or as soon as we know more about it. I'll have the office get in touch with you to give you some kind of time frame." Or sometimes we always say a week at latest, because normally we can get anything within a week, and if we can't, then we'll call the customer and make arrangements. But just make sure you cover your ass that way too. Yep. Got to make sure I'm taking notes. Hold on. I got to make sure I'm taking notes. Hold on.
No, I don't know if we should announce anything. We could announce, what's coming. Talk about that for a couple minutes. It's coming. What I figured is we'll shoot a video and we'll post it in the group. So look for a video posted in the group, and it'll be Gil and I, and we'll have a link because we got some stuff to give you. So, with an option to buy if you choose to, but it's badass shit, packed full of information, and I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely, man. We've been putting some things together, like we said, to try to help you guys, and we're gonna launch that stuff soon, and that's only going to be the beginning. It's really going to be the tip of the iceberg. So we'll see how it goes from there. We're pretty sure you guys are going to enjoy it, though. But we're getting about that time. Let's go ahead and start closing this thing out, my friend.
So hope you took a few pointers this podcast, be sure to use those because, guys, sometimes just in what you say and how you say it can make all the world of difference. So good luck with that. I want to know your success. So tell us about how you use this and how it worked for you. Thank you so much for listening. Please share it with your friends, your family, your coworkers. Download it. Like us. Give us a 5-star review. If you don't like it, just turn it off. You don't have to leave us a review in that case. But if you do like it, then leave us a review. If it's 5 stars. We greatly appreciate you guys, each and every one of you, just like Gil always says. But it's true. We love you guys. Thank you so much for the support. And go make money.
Yeah, guys, man. You guys know the usual, man. First and foremost, this is coming from both of us. We still have Mr. Lee, Mr. Michael Lee, in our thoughts and prayers. Just wanted to let you know we're thinking about you, Mr. Lee. We hope you're doing well. We are going to have, I'm waiting for some more stuff to come in, guys. I know we haven't had a giveaway in a while. So I'm going to set up so that we can have a giveaway. And that's something we definitely want to do. We want to be able to give things to you guys. We're just, like it or not, we're not going to be one of those ones to just, have giveaways every week. Not that we don't want to. We'll try to give things away as soon as we can. Maybe we'll try to start maybe like at least once a month, if not more. But, we're going to have some other elements that we're going to try to add into it. But you guys know all the usual spots to download the podcast. We're on the Apple iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, SoundCloud, all the major places to download it. Guys, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast. That way it automatically downloads it. It is on YouTube, and that counts as a download. But you subscribe to it, and that thing's going to be there waiting for you, 7 o'clock every Monday, just ready to go. So, yeah, man, we love you guys. We appreciate you. This podcast has grown so much, and like we always say, we'd be nothing without you guys. A lot of things coming. We're really going to try to take this thing to the next level. I think you guys are really, really going to enjoy it. So thank you to all the guests in the last couple of weeks if you guys are listening. And as always, guys, make sure you make it home the same way you left. And guys, always do the little things to set yourself apart. That's what we talk about here. We want you guys to set yourself apart so everybody at your company, everybody in your area knows who the fuck you are because you do a bang-up job. You're a fucking rock star and you're killing it. That's what we want for each and every one of you guys. And God damn it, we're not going to stop until we make that happen. All right? So, guys, we love you. We'll talk to you guys next week. And until then,
Peace.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.
You ain't got to go, but you got to get the fuck out of here.